Hello guys and welcome to What's on the Shelf. Just trying to adjust some things. Here we go. So we're currently waiting for the panel to start, and as you can tell, Chanel didn't want to stay on the floor again, so she's joining me for this panel. So I'm sorry if I have technical difficulties and need to take the dog out. She's been very clingy today, as you can tell, eh, big baby? So we're heading into the Skybound Tabletop First Looks panel. So hopefully this is very informative, and we'll get a lot of previews of new things to come from Skybound Tabletop. They recently came out with it was Court of the Dead Dark Harvest. You can catch our review of it on our channel as well. It is absolutely gorgeous looking. And the gameplay is a lot of fun as well. It's a little darker than most games that you would play, but it is a bluff-taking game. So the main concept of the game is you're trying to collect as many souls as possible, but not be too greedy to end up being eliminated from the game. So we're just gonna wait a little bit longer for them to start up. Should only be another minute or so. I wonder if I can get Chanel to howl for you guys. She does the most adorable howl with my niece. Chanel. Chanel. Okay, so she's not gonna... Oh, well, isn't that nice of you to talk to the audience, eh, as we wait? Arr. There we go, we got her famous howl. Yeah? Are you saying hello to everyone? Don't like. Okay, you gotta be quiet for the panel. It's about to start. Okay, thank you. I didn't mean to wake the beast. Are you gonna settle down so I can handle this panel? Okay, there we go. Now she's getting comfy again. Alright, so we're just gonna wait a little bit longer. We'll be right back. So it is now 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and we are heading into the Skybound Tabletop First Look panel. So we're currently waiting for them to go live. The music is not my music.
What's up, everybody?
Oh,
welcome back to the stream. I am joined by the one and only Ben Kepner.
Hey, James. Good to be here.
Hi, Ben. How are you this morning?
Oh, doing just so good.
It's really weird that this is our Gen Con, but it's this morning's stream with the announcement of the Title Blades RPG and getting to interact with fans and seeing the excitement, and then seeing other publishers announce their cool things that they've been holding on to for a while, and like games that I'm excited about. I'm starting to get a little bit of the Gen Con buzz, a little of the energy. It's not the same, but you know.
Yeah,
I heard about this. I can't wait
nice to have,
see the RPG
to talk about games and do some fun stuff. You know.
And for us, like this particular panel, this particular stream, the first look is one that I've been really excited about for a long time, because so we've talked a little bit about Pebble Rock, which is the first game that we're gonna showcase, and we've talked some about Bloodstone, but we've never went to a deep dive of like, and we only got 20 minutes per game, so there's only so much deep diving we're gonna get to do, but really getting to show off the mechanics and the world and some more of the art. But our last one, I've had to keep this in my pocket for a long time. And as I alluded to earlier, I'm really bad at keeping secrets. It's not my superpower. It's my kryptonite. But we will be joined by Kim Joy from the Great British Bake Off, and we're going to show you a little game that we're collabing with her on.
It's exciting. Yeah.
So if you're here for just Kim Joy, we understand. You're gonna have to deal with us plebes for about 40 minutes.
So sorry. So sorry about that.
Sorry, not sorry. So why don't we jump right in? If we want to transition over to the screen share, we're gonna use Tabletop Simulator. So if you all are not familiar with that, it is under the Steam platform. It is a way that you can play virtual board games. And so since
we're very familiar with it at this point,
this is how we pretty much have to work now. And as I like to tell this little quick story, I was a big anti-proponent of, I don't want any of my board gaming to be virtual. I was a real stick in the mud. And then so quarantine came along, and we didn't have an option, right? Like we had to do this to be able to keep working on games. And now the more that I'm into it, the more that we're doing it. Now I really love it. And now I'm even playing games on TTS and Steam with my friends back home in Alabama, just as a way to hang out.
Yeah.
It's, the times
yeah.
we're living in.
Being able to play with like anyone, anywhere, regardless of geography, like instead of just being like, oh, here's the, 10 to 20 friends that live like, in LA near my apartment, instead of it just being those people, it's like, it's so nice to be able to play with anyone like that.
And one of the big advantages I think that I've really come to love for Tabletop Simulator is, as we're playtesting something, if you're like, hey, that card's broken or it's OP or we need to make this tweak to the card, you're like, done, and it's uploaded and it's in there. Whereas before it would be like, we would take all these notes, we would go back and make revisions to the physical copy. Then the next time we were playtesting, we would get to playtest those things that we think are ideas. We can typically get them in immediately and then see if they have the effect that we want. It just makes better designing.
Yeah. It's crazy to think that when this is all over, we might just keep doing this.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk a little bit because we are on, as Jess like pings me, we're on a tight schedule here. So first up, we wanted to show you Pebble Rock Delivery Service. This will be a Kickstarter that's going to come. Right now, we're rough sketching that into late September, potentially 1st of October, depending on. The big thing that we want to do is we want Tidal Blades to be in delivery to everyone before we launch this. We just
Tidal
think that's
Blades.
kind of fair.
I'm so looking forward to that.
We respect that campaigns should deliver, especially late ones. We know we're late before we get into the next one. But because of coronavirus, our whole schedule for the year has been imploded, exploded, chopped up, sushi-fied, and thrown to the wolves. So we're doing the best we can, and we're making adjustments on the fly.
It's like that was a pretty accurate collection of metaphors. That's how it feels.
Fish in a barrel, finger guns, whatever. It's all bad and wrong, and we're just trying to do the thing. And so this game was going to be a straight to retail, but then all of the retailers, with all the issues that they're having because of coronavirus, it just didn't work out the way that we thought it was going to. And so when we look back at this game, and it's something that we'd always said from the beginning, there was like these little side jokes of like, this could easily be the next Grim Forest if we were doing a Kickstarter. A deluxeified version of Pebble Rock Delivery Service would be awesome. And so then,
oh, technical difficulties. We're loading. Loading. I'm sorry, Chanel. I moved a bit.
Zuli, do the thing. And it was like, okay, let's do the thing. So one of the things that we want to tell you about with this game, and as I zoom in, I'm going to fly around TTS, is first of all, this is from Tristan Rossum. He is UK artist, developer, designer, and he posted this. Oh man, it's probably been a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, maybe. Mm-hmm. And the first thing I noticed when I saw it was how gorgeous it was, and how I'm going to zoom back over here to one of the characters. Look at Elvis. Look at that little otter. Just how beautiful the world was, and I knew immediately, like I was just drawn in.
Yeah, every time I play this game and look at this art, I just want to go swimming. I just want to jump in that water.
Yeah, for sure. And so I love the idea of a mechanic that's not typically a family game, pickup and delivery. And so I think one of our big developer strategies and wants from this was to add just the right amount of depth and strategy to the game that children can play with their parents, but parents still feel like they played a meaningful game. As a parent who plays games with their kids, it's funny, my kids will be like, let's play this. And immediately in my head, I go, oh, I don't want to play that, because it's not all that enjoyable for me. But I do enjoy spending time with my kids, so I do it because that's what we want to do. I want to remove that. We want to remove that with this game. And
makes sense.
Ben, I don't know. I mean, you can chime in. I know we're biased, but I think we nailed it.
I think so. I mean, that's the goal.
So one of the things I think we can give you a quick overview because, like I said, we've got 12 more minutes. So the idea is it is a roll and move. And before you click the X in the corner and go away because you heard roll and move, let me explain the nuance of our roll and move. So you have an option here on roll and move is anytime on your turn, you're going to choose, do you want to go slow and steady or do you want to go fast and dangerous? And so slow and steady, you're going to roll this dice that has your movement availability, but then it also has a resource die that has different things like fishing, which fish are going to help you in one of your currencies in the game. Okay. It's going to have Maisie the whale, which she helps you and brings you new cargo. And then fishing, and then there's also this fair winds situation that can double up your movement. And so on your turn, you would roll these, and you would see what your result is. And say like, cool. Oh gosh, of course that would. Of course it would do that. Oh, there it goes.
There it goes.
I get to move 3, and I would get to go fishing. So I'd roll the fishing die and see how many fish I get to add. Boom, 4 fish. Then I would, for example, if I was playing Oscar, I'd be on here, and I'd get to move my 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I'd go fishing at my fishing. So it's going to allow you options and agency because the other thing is you could have went fast and dangerous. So if you roll those, you're going to get your movement, which now is 6. And I got lucky. There's nothing. But what you'll see here is there's pirates, there's whirlpools, and there's a shark. And so they're going to have negative effects on you.
Gotcha.
And so it's that thin line of like, in my plan, do I need to get all the way across the islands as fast and as far as I can? Is it worth the risk?
Yeah. And I kind of like how that sort of, it's a fun, simple little mechanic that, that hopefully kids can grasp onto, right? Where it's like, you want to go fast or you want to be safe? And, but it also is kind of thematic and feels like, you're piloting a boat, and are you taking risks and, going fast, or are you going slow? I like it.
The cool thing is like, and the reason where you're going to be going is you're going to have these deliveries that need to be made. And that's your main goal in the game, is making deliveries. And you've got to manage your cargo because you pick up all your cargo at the lighthouse from Mr. Badger. And then you're going to be heading out and making these deliveries. So like Mukau Key, let me zoom out because that would be hard to do. You'll go over here and there needs to be a delivery here. You need to take 2 cargo. And if you do make that delivery, you're going to score 9 points. And so we got Penguinburg. Let me just set this up real quick. So Penguinburg's got a spot. And then the diver is at, and let me blow this up for you. Look at that art.
It's so super cute.
Tristan did such a great job with the art. Almost all the cars have almost unique art on them. He went bonkers with it. But this is going to Pear Isle. So that's right here. So now as I set out, before I make my movements, I've got to make my decision. Where do I want to try to go? There's 2 deliveries that can be done over here. There's one over here. And so let's say I was real keen on getting over here to Mukau Key and making that delivery. These inner islands have some things going on, like you've got the markets. So you've got the Meerkat Market. Hold on, let me zoom in so you can see these. One of the things that's great about the world is these are going to be, some of these will be standees, some of these will be actual minis in the game, but the island art is going to be on these standees. And look at those meerkats on there. They're just like, we buy fish.
They buy fish. They're looking for fish.
But your market actions are going to be over here as well. Let me flip these over. And these are items you can use to upgrade your boat or give you advantages in the game, whatever you're into. So if you stop there, you can pick one of these up. And so right now, like there's a shark repellent, there's a cargo upgrade, and a water cannon.
Ooh.
So let's just say I went, oh gosh, I was trying to zoom out, but we'll do it this way. That's fine. Let's say I wanted to grab this cargo upgrade. Here's how that would work. I get to slot that into my equipment. And this is a cool thing that I find not only kids like, but parents like. It feels good to upgrade something and have agency over your choices.
It's very true.
And what this would do is, like, you would set your cargo aside because you've got 4 cargo to start because you come fully loaded. You'll take your card, you'll flip it over, and now your boat holds 5 pieces of cargo.
Oh, nice.
Now I'm going to have to go back to the lighthouse to completely fill that back up, but I can now hold 5 pieces. And that feels good. So even when you don't make a delivery, there's cool things that you can do. Like these 4 locations are markets that you can stop at and get an upgrade. These 4 locations have, as you can see right here, fishing holes. And if you stop on those locations, you're going to get to roll that fishing die and get more fish. Fish are used in the game to move extra spaces. It's almost like Pop Out the Sailor Man. You've ate some tuna, and now you get your boat's going to zip out a little further. So if I wanted to not stop here and get this upgrade, but I wanted to spin 3 fish on Oscar's move a minute ago, I could do that and go 1, 2, 3, and I would have made it to Mukau Key. I would have been able to make this delivery. Let's just go ahead and pretend like I did that. I would add this to my board. I would spin 2 cargo. I would score 9 points. So I'd take my marker and put it on the 9, and that's where I'm at.
Nice.
And then it'll be the next player's turn. So turns are fast. They're quick. They're exciting because you get to try to plan things out. You can save up a bunch of fish and make this one heck a crazy big move. Or you can go slow and steady and save up fish for later.
Yeah, I feel like the fish were kind of a nice breakthrough because it's like, the feel bad moments of most roll and moves are it's like, well, you rolled, but you needed to move 6 spaces, but instead you rolled 5. And so it's almost a wasted turn. But hopefully, like the idea with the fish is that having that agency to be able to burn those at the right time kind of like allows people control over some of that randomness.
Absolutely. One of the cool catch-up mechanics for anybody, like one of the things that does happen in like a roll and move or a game that has a lot of RNG is with dice rolling is sometimes somebody can fall behind and they have a hard time catching back up to any of the leaders. True. You got that runaway leader mechanic. So one of the things that happens in the game, let's just say that you were playing Hamish, our lovely, lovely puppy. Hold on, I got to show you Hamish. He's so cool.
They have a puppy.
I think he's my favorite. I'm a dog person,
She's dead to the world right now.
His boat's really awesome too. And you'll notice that these all of these cards for the cargo upgrade are custom for the boats. They're not generic.
Oh, okay.
And then obviously there's Pebble. You got to have the main guy, the main person, the puffin.
The puffin.
But what you are going to see here is if it's your turn and you're in last place like Hamish is right now, when you roll, you take the fast speedy die and you take the resource die, and this is the combo that you get to roll when you're in last place.
Oh.
And so you're only going to go fast, and you're only going to have something good happen to you. Whether it's exactly what you wanted won't matter, but you don't just keep getting punched in the face over and over if you're already in last place by like the shark coming over and eating all your fish, or the pirates coming over and stealing some of your cargo.
Gotcha. So there's safety mechanics in place, which is a nice touch.
As you see, here's Maisie. Oh, she's so cute. Look at that hat and those flowers. So when Maisie comes over, she's like an NPC. Aww. She actually brings you a piece of cargo. She knows where all the good deals are at, and she's got cargo to hand out and help. You've got, I don't know if we've named him. Have we settled on a name for the shark?
No, I personally keep naming him Larry the Shark in all of my playtesting documents, but that's work in progress.
There has to be a Larry Bruce Shark in every game now.
He comes over and you have to roll the fishing die, and he's going to eat some of your fish. That is not. I'm doing it all wrong. It's one of those TTS things. So the game plays over 10 rounds. So you're trying to do as much as you possibly can, as many deliveries as you can, as much point scoring as you can in these 10 rounds. And the rounds are short. Like the game's going to play in like 30 to 40 minutes at full player count. Mm-hmm. A couple of things you got to think about is you've got these assignments that you get from the beginning. And now this is where you can add these in or not, as much as you want based on, people you're playing the game with, right? So if I'm playing this with Stella and she's 6, I'm probably not going to give her an assignment because she's not even going to think about that, right? But if I'm playing this with Parker, he's 100% going to think about that. So these are little private goals that you can get for scoring points at the end of the game if you complete those. Also, you are trying to collect sets because there's 4 different locations around the island and colors. So you've got the yellow quadrant, the green quadrant, blue, and red. And if you can get a delivery in each of those, that's like
very
a set,
visible now
and that
that
gets you
it's
extra
above.
points into the game.
Yeah, which I think
and
that has a
then
nice
if
little.
you can somehow.
Oh, I was just saying, yeah, like that set mechanic has a nice little balancing thing to it because, you know, like often it's faster if you can just stay in one area and just rack up a bunch of deliveries. But if you can spread out, you obviously get more points. So it kind of gives you a nice little like two viable strategies that you can go for.
Yep. Absolutely. And that's why we wanted to really introduce kids into a little bit like a game that has a little bit more teeth to it, you know, where they can so the parents can enjoy playing it because those are the things that we like to play. But then also you're kind of training them up as they should go, as they say. But there's also and little other ways to score points is there's 4 islands that have treasure around them, and if you go to that location, you can pick that treasure up and actually slot it in your boat. In one of your empty spaces, and it does take up a slot, so you've got to manage that amongst your cargo and then how you refill or whatever, but it's worth this amount of points if you take it to the pirates because the pirates love treasure. So all you'll need to do is get your boat near the pirates, which look at these guys, look at those pirates, that guy, that's a salty crew,
motley bunch.
They are indeed, but they do love treasure. And so if you get your boat beside them, you can deliver that treasure to them and score those points. And it's a great way to get a big chunk of points. But they move around a lot depending on who's using the speedy, risky dice, because that's where it pings them. They follow the people that do that when they roll those results. So that was, I think we're already at 20 minutes, Ben. That was fast.
Oh, yeah.
Very well done.
Did we... Just check and make sure we covered everything.
You
said who your favorite character was. Oh, do you want to show those minis real quick?
Yeah.
For the deluxe
do we have that graphic ready? Or do I have it? I don't know.
Oh, I thought you had it. If we don't,
I probably do, but I am doing too many things. We'll post that to the internet later. So if y'all want to see it, we do have a couple examples of some of the minis that
nice.
Harry Berto is the sculptor that we're working with, who helped us with Tidal Blades and Grim Forest. So
I'm sold.
His sculpting abilities are perfect for these type of worlds.
This man does really awesome sculpts. Really I'm sold already.
Really, just overall, really excited about this game. It's just fun to play. You're just zipping around trying to complete as many things as you think you can. It has a real crazy taxi kind of vibe where you're like, I really want to go do that delivery, but it's 3 and I've only got 2. So that means I've got to either get Maisie to come to me and give me a cargo. I've got to swing by and stop at the lighthouse and refill. It's not too much, right? Like there's enough strategy there that kids are going to be able to do the things.
And I think it's easy to like only take on as much of it as you want, right? Where it's like if you're a kid playing it, you can just be like, I go here, I do the thing. But if you're an adult playing it, you can, sort of try to plan out 3 or 4 moves in advance and sort of strategize a lot more deeply.
And people that are used to our games and our Kickstarter versions of games, like the deluxeified version of this is going to have like, we've got little squishy fish that we're planning on doing.
Yes, squishy fish.
The cargoes will be like sculpted 3D boxes that you'll be able to paint up and do all that sort of thing. All the characters will be minis. A lot of the NPCs, all the NPCs will be minis. Some of like the lighthouse will have a mini. We've just got a bunch of really cool things. They'll have game trays as normal that we usually do. So it will be one of those things that when you put it out on the table, it'll be so inviting that you just can't help yourself wanting to sit down and play.
Very nice.
All right. I think I need to swap the system over to Bloodstone.
Ooh, Bloodstone. Another one I'm really
the name of the game, I see that question, is Pebble Rock Delivery Service. As I said, we've got it planned for a Kickstarter sometime in late September, early October-ish.
I will start saving my pennies.
Okay. So next up, we've got Bloodstone. Now, Bloodstone is about as far away from Pebble Rock Delivery Service as you can get thematically.
Oh yeah, it's dark.
But this was actually my first design that I ever started playing with back when I first got into board gaming. But I was too scared to try to make this into a game this early because I knew it needed a much bigger treatment to do it justice. And so
James has been teasing this
for quite a long time, a few years now, and we're ready to start really diving into it and revealing it to you. Our hopes is to have this come to Kickstarter by the end of the year, but with the way the world, it may slip into the first of next year. Yeah, I don't know. Y'all tell us if you're super excited. We'll just make it happen. We'll just make it happen. We'll do it. We'll launch it.
Do it.
I don't know. I'm not saying anything. I'm not committing to anything. But here we are in TTS. Ben, what has been some of your favorite parts of designing and helping me develop Bloodstone?
Oh man, I feel like, I mean, honestly, the world building probably, like taking this like sort of start of a world that you had and kind of like trying to flesh it out and like really make sure that world is coming through in all of the characters, like the 8 playable characters. Has been like a challenge, but a ton of fun.
Yeah, I think one of the first things that people will notice right off the bat is the absolute insane gorgeous art from David Kegg. David has worked with Blizzard, League of Legends, Riot. He has that kind of skill set, and
he's got some power behind his
working with
name.
him to build this world out, just like Ben was saying, has been an absolute pleasure because he's also a huge RPG nerd. So like, you know, bringing him into this as an artist was great because he's super talented, but also he's added a lot to the world just from his flair and the way that he does things. So, I mean, look at this arena. So good. So the general overview of what's going on here is the world is a dark, high fantasy world, as you can probably tell from this art. The Bloodstone is a mysterious, magical force that is not completely understood and will have to be revealed through time. But essentially, it draws people in and wants to be used. And so currently, Vanera, who, if I can unlock the board, let's see if I can unlock the board. Yeah, this is Vanera, and this is our box cover art.
Ooh.
Vanera is currently in possession of the Bloodstone, and it is, as you can see, absolutely wrecking her. It is bad and not helpful.
Corrupting her.
It's gonna do bad things because it corrupts anybody that it uses. But it does bestow them some very, very crazy powers. I'm trying to get the board to go back into this space, and so Vanera has it, and she's captured these champions. She's holding them in the arena, and she makes them fight to the death over and over. And one of the powers that she's has access to through the Bloodstone is resurrection. Now, she can't resurrect things that have been dead like a long, long time, but like freshly dead, it's essentially like a super powerful healing almost, not so much resurrection. So think of it like that, because our champions aren't zombies. Or are they? I don't know.
Yeah, stay tuned.
And so they're going to... Stay tuned. Who knows?
Stay tuned. Are these zombies?
But the main
or not?
mechanic in the game has a PvP element where we'll just fight each other, and then it also has a PvE. If you don't know what that means, it's player versus player or player versus environment. I know those are video game terms
are you done?
Going around.
And
but like
going down
we
now.
have an example here for you. Our first PvE encounter is Malvara, and Malvara is a corrupted fire demon that had some magical. This was once a human. And then they got into some of the. Well, I'm not gonna get into the lore. I don't have time to get into the lore. I'm sorry. I really want to.
Do a whole nother
really
panel on it,
that,
James. Please.
But instead, I'll just show you the pretties.
After con panels.
Look at that guy. You do not want to mess with him.
Oh, it's so cool looking.
So there's a whole system around fighting PvP and PvE, and in the campaign mode, you'll be bouncing back and forth between those two modes. One of the things that was the initial design kind of onus was to make the PvE as fast and as clean and quick. We call it a meat grinder. as possible, that you don't have a lot of stats that you're having to think about.
Awesome.
You're not doing math on like, well, what's your defense? And I hit you for this, and let's do math. I don't like math. I'm from Alabama. And so there's not like a lot of line of sight and thing like that. So on your turn, your main thing is you're going to take your 3 attack dice and you're going to give those a roll. So in this case, I have rolled what we call singles because there are no matching dice results. There's a 2, there's a 5, and there's a 6. So you could go to your player board. Here we have Sinrig of the Wildlands. They are a archer, and they are awesome. This would give me access to Pure Shot. So Pure Shot says when you attack, choose one target and hit all enemies in a straight line, or add 3 damage to a single attack. So what that's going to do is, if I'm on the board, I'm going to have access to that single ability, and I'm going to try to use that to my advantage. So if they can line up multiple targets in a row by movement, then their Pure Shot would go through all of them and do damage to multiple targets, which is pretty strong for a single.
So this is an arena-based
now let's just
PvP
that
and
my dice result would have been
camping
that I had
and single
doubles.
player
So
and multiplayer game.
That would give me access to the doubles menu, and the double menu for Sinrig has multi-shot, which is one of these dice. Add a multi-shot dice to your pool, so that would go now into my incoming dice pool for the next round. And when activated, Sinrig deals full attack damage to target and half damage to all other enemies in range. So what this is going to do is going to allow Sinrig to be
a rain of arrows.
AoE machine. And so on my next turn, I've added this special dice into my hand. So when I roll this, I'm hoping that I get one of those dice faces. I didn't.
Yeah.
But as you can see, had it landed, I would have been able to activate that ability.
Very cool.
And this is where the crux of the game, and also, most characters have 2 doubles abilities, so you're going to have some strategy there. I could apply marks to another character, which is a cool ability that adds extra damage. We don't have enough time to go into everything. But I just want to give you the general idea of what's going on. I think the really cool part of the game is, so like, let's say Sinrig's here, we've added this multi-shot. Let's say Vrock hits Sinrig and applies a bleed die.
Also, real quick, can we get a +1 in chat? Or can we get a 1 in chat if everyone thinks Vrock looks like James?
Oh, get out of here.
I give it a 1.
I wish I meant to do. I wish it was meant to be that way. It totally wasn't. Look at that guy. I do not. There is no dad bod on this guy. Okay, let me tell you, Quarantine 15 is real. So, we asked the artist at the beginning. The first concept was a Viking, and that's what he came up with. Anyway,
I give that a 1. It does look like James.
So one of the things, maybe Vrock Vrock hates you as a player, and they've applied 2 bleed dice to your hand. So on your turn in the future, you may be rolling all of these custom dice. Some are helping you, some are hurting you, and you're trying to get access to the things that you want.
Dice.
Now, quickly, if in the rare case that you were to roll trips, that unlocks your ultimate, and that's going to be a super powerful ability that every character has an ult. There is a way to get that on your own, because one of the things that happens when you roll singles, and it's not very much fun always, if you keep rolling singles and everybody else is rolling doubles, you get a temporary either blood energy die or a temporary attack die. And you get to choose. Do you want to hit harder your next turn? And it gives you more chances because this can count toward your single, double, triples. Or you can start building up blood energy. And once you get to 20 blood energy, you unlock your ult. And we flip. Oh, that's rolling. You flip that over, and now you have access to your ultimate. So there's ways to unlock things no matter how the dice fall.
Yeah, and I was gonna say I do love that choice that you get when you roll singles of it's a simple choice, right? If you want a bonus attack die or do you want a bonus blood energy die, but it just means that on your turn, no matter what you're doing, you either have that choice for singles. If you roll doubles, you've got a choice of 2 pretty powerful abilities. Where if you roll your ultimate, then everyone's just cheering and you don't need a choice because you did the really cool thing. So, but it's like a really nice feeling. There's never
I would roll a lot of 1s in this game.
It's
either 1s or 6s, and the 6s would be against me.
The other big strategy is round to round. How do you decide who goes first? Everybody has this handful of initiative cards that they have access to. So let me just add all of these to my hand. And so they all have this speed, and they also have an ability. So depending on if you played a 1, that's the fastest initiative. And if you played a 6, it's the slowest. And you'll notice that the abilities ramp up. So the slower you go, the better ability that you get. Sometimes the faster you go, you don't even get an ability. It just depends. So, but like this allows you to place a snare. This allows you to reflect damage. This allows you unlimited range for the round, but you can't move. This allows Sinrig to have a multi-shot die instantly added into their pool, which is very, very helpful to get those dice into your pool. And this one's just dumb. Their 6 is just dumb. Add 2 blood energy dice to your active dice pool. So they just ramp up their blood energy really quickly. And every character is extremely asymmetric. Let me make sure that's the right one. Nope, that's not the right one. Is it the right one for her? Yes. And so like Leanne here, our rogue, she only has 4 initiative cards. So she's going to always be operating fast, and all of her stuff has pretty strong abilities on it. She has hyper movement. She's stabbing everybody. She's adding a multi-strike dice to her hand. She's gross. You've got Yulwazi, who's going to represent your mage class. He's got these ignite dice that he can put into your hand that do damage to you and can blow up. He's got a pyroblast that he can add to his hand, and when the result comes up, he gets that much damage added to his total. So he's just like,
it's a lot of damage.
Ben, yeah, I've watched Ben do this. His ult is insane. So he gets to roll 2d20 and add the result to his attack, right? So that's a lot already. But then he can subtract 10 HP and add an extra d20 to this roll up to 3. So he could potentially roll 5 d20. And Ben has done that plenty of times in playtesting, sometimes to the detriment of the group.
I'm like, I don't need hit points if the boss is dead, right?
Okay, so it damages you, but also adds benefit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't always work out.
And here's James.
So every player is, like I said, they're very asymmetric. Each one's going to have a very unique setup and different set of abilities, different set of initiative cards, different strategies on how
I wonder if they'll
them.
have expansion packs for additional characters,
and then ones that don't.
So if that's planned already, or if that's going to come in the near future.
The thing that's really neat about the PvP is, so you would load everybody in. It'd be the last person standing type of match, we're all running around. There's these social contracts that happen because you're like, hey,
of course, there's
last
always
person
contracts.
standing. So haven't you noticed that no one's hit Leanne and she has more health than everybody? Shouldn't we all just turn around and start smacking Leanne? And sometimes that holds true. Sometimes it doesn't, because you're just social contracts at the table. But there's also these arena banes that Vanera is playing on us, and they have all, typically you'll get 2 of these that come out and kind of give you a different setup each round or each match, right?
Oh, okay.
And there's just different things that you have to think about. Sometimes they're kind of helpful with a double-edged sword kind of effect, and sometimes they're very environmental. Yeah, there's that. There's so much to talk about in this game in 20 minutes. It's not even possible.
I'm really hoping James does a panel on just the lore of the game.
One of the things that I love, we were talking about the asymmetric characters. And I love, like, in the design process for all the characters, like, just trying to hone in on really, like, what makes them feel unique. And I feel like the ultimates, for example, are some of my favorites, favorite examples of that. Like Leanne, for example, when she rolls her ultimate, instead of doing a whole bunch of damage or doing some really cool move, she actually replaces her initiative deck with 4 totally new cards that are all insanely powerful. So it's just like a very different feeling, right? Where, instead of a one big time one thing, now that character is just upgraded for the rest of the match.
Yep, that was definitely one of the things that we wanted to do was not just make, and I use this analogy a lot, but a burrito and a chimichanga, right? Like chimichanga is just a fried burrito. It's the same thing. They just slightly made one tiny change. And I feel like a lot of games that are asymmetric do that. And we strived very hard to make every character and every boss fight feel very, very different.
Which is a fun challenge too, because it's like it needs to feel different, but the learning curve still needs to be such that people can understand it quickly.
I just want to hear more about the lore. That's something I so want.
I mean, this could potentially be your hand when you're rolling on one of your turns, right? Like you've got, I hit an ult. Ooh, but I also took a lot of damage from all those bleed dice.
Ooh.
So, you know, you got to survive to do your ult. That's part of the game. But I want to just briefly
you got to make it through the pain to do the ult.
Like, there's a whole system set up for fighting a boss. They'll come out. They will have an environmental
I'm
effect.
so excited
like
about
this particular
this game.
boss is going to have this fire panel that rotates in the ring. Malvara is a gross fire demon doing bad stuff to us. So if you get in that, you take damage. They've got this initiative deck that comes out, and it gives you their initiative, but then also it has an ability that fires them off, and then they also roll their attack dice. Oh gosh, I pulled out. Oh, that's a character that's you're not supposed to see that character. I'm putting that away. You didn't even see that priest named Calvio. God, I did it again. But they have their single,
spoilers.
double, triples just like we do, and all of those things layer. So you've got their dice abilities, their attack mixed with this environmental thing, mixed with their initiative cards. And to Ben's point, like once you kind of get in the game and you go through this first fight, all the bosses operate on that 3-lever system of dice, cards, environment, but they all operate vastly different. And,
I can't wait for this to hit Kickstarter.
And let's just say,
it's got my money right off the bat.
You beat the bosses.
It's got cool miniatures. The concept isn't unique. Asymmetrical characters are definitely big
Ben,
plus.
One other big point before we have to sign off and move on to the Kimjoy segment is we're working with Ari Marmel, and they are a great author, and so they helped us build a huge world Bible. And we're doing a novel that's going to go along with this Kickstarter.
Ooh.
So not only will you be able to buy the game, but you'll be able to buy this novel. And we've already seen the outline for it. It's freaking cool. If you like high fantasy literature, like this is, we feel like we've got a really pretty unique and awesome story to tell that goes along with Bloodstone. And it has a really big arc. I don't think it definitely won't be contained in one novel, so I hope it's successful because I want to tell the whole story. And
I would love to see a comic of this.
Yeah, I saw someone in the chat asking for you to talk more about Bloodstone lore, and yeah, it's like there's going to be so much of that.
Oh, I know. More
lore
that was me. I want more lore.
And I think that's
do a panel.
That was definitely one of the things that I get excited about, right? When making this game and building this world, but having the opportunity to work with Ari, who's somebody who's worked in RPG settings, is a D&D fan, like knows what we're looking for when we said, help us flesh out the history of the world. Why did this, this is a cool idea and how we got here and this, but like, what's the information that surrounds it that makes sense? And just really fleshing out the world, drawing the world map, where people come from, what kind of currency do they use? What powers the magic?
Why are these particular heroes in this arena?
All of that stuff, we answered all of it, and we built a whole world around it. And then the novel is going to really dive into. It can't dive into everything. I don't believe we're going to be able to do Brandon Sanderson level, 1,500 page novel to really deep dive it. But I hope that it's super successful and people really enjoy it, because it will definitely allow us to be able to do more and make more books.
Yeah. One of my favorite moments from developing that outline in that novel was it's the monk character. It's Temujin, where that character's abilities in the game already existed, and then we started working on the novel, and then their abilities totally changed based on a suggestion from the writer, from Ari, where it's like, oh yeah, no, there's a much cooler version of this character.
Yeah, it was. It was eye-opening, right? Because it gives the world so much more depth and a better way of doing things, that it's going to make a better game. So we're super excited. Yeah. Wait, who is that?
Hello.
I know you.
Can you hear me? Hello.
That is Jess's subtle way of saying, stop talking about your game and go talk about Kimjoy's game. Hey, Kimjoy, how are you?
The panel issue.
I'm good. Yeah, I've got these headphones on, and they're really weird actually, because I can't quite hear myself.
There we go.
But good. Right. How are you guys doing?
Oh, okay.
We are enjoying our.
James, do you need me to open up Kimjoy?
Yeah, I do. Okay. I don't have the Kimjoy one here in the back end, but yes, we are. It's very exciting because we've been enjoying our Gen Con, which this is not the normal Gen Con.
It's Gen Con
normally
online. It's in
at
the
our
title.
booth and seeing thousands and thousands of fans. And we're still kind of doing that, but we're doing it through this mode. But it also allows us to sit down with you and celebrate this cool game that we're getting ready to bring to everybody.
Ooh, ooh.
Yeah, it's kind of nice being online because, you know, we can all chat to each other online without being in the same place.
Well, it's funny because when I came through for Essen last year, we did a little interview for Starting Roll, which, by the way, that episode's almost ready. It's only been a year. Coronavirus
My turnaround
messes up
time is a little
everybody's
bit better
schedules,
depending
right?
on my schedule now.
And one of the things I remember from that interview that you said was that you're a pretty big introvert, and that you enjoy that. I think in that thing you specifically said, which is weird because I've been on TV, right? But this is what the online experience allows us to kind of be able to vibe in this way and you don't have to be around people if you don't want to be.
Well, I want to be around you guys.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that.
I've got all my cozy, nice blanket at home and, all the comforts. So it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to tell everybody the little mini story of how we met. Last year at San Diego Comic-Con, you had a booth because you were promoting your cookbook.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you don't have, you should get it. It's an awesome cookbook. The only problem for us silly Americans is there's a few things that you got to figure out as far as like what is almond whatever. Like we don't have that here. Let's name something else or
almond?
A different measurement.
There's lots of different names, isn't there? Yeah. Yeah.
There is, and
all-purpose flour or plain flour for you guys. No, plain flour for us and all-purpose flour for you guys.
Yeah. I did.
There is a difference between cake flour and all-purpose flour. I learned that
something
this year
wasn't right because
during
when
COVID.
it came out at the end, it was still good, but it was like something's not quite right here.
Oh no!
New cooking game. I love cooking games.
But we got it all figured out. And so
that's good.
You were there at San Diego. We met you by happenstance. I think actually Ben walked by your booth and had been watching the season, was already a fan of yours.
Yeah, no, we saw you and it was like, oh wait, that's I recognize her,
And then we came over to your booth and then it was back and forth and
good times.
Yeah. I like this. By the way, this is the first time I've seen this mat. This looks amazing.
Wow.
It looks so good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
good
job.
I think one of the things that was apparent from the beginning of meeting you is that not only were you an awesome baker and a TV personality, but you're a board gamer at heart.
Yeah.
You love board gaming, and through our interview on Starting Roll, you got to talk a little bit about meeting your partner through board gaming and getting to hang out there. So. Now, what was your favorite game that y'all play a lot? That you're also ruthless at?
Not ruthless. But me and Nabil play Splendor quite well. That was our game that we played non-stop. Then he stole my strategy and started winning, and then it wasn't as fun anymore. Well,
I'm absolutely horrible at Splendor, so if you want to send me whatever your strategy was, I would be happy to bring that in.
I'm okay with Splendor.
I've
played it quite a bit because Ariane loves it a lot.
We can totally do that on TTS or Steam. I'm sure that's there. It has an app too. But yeah, so we jammed at San Diego. We all decided that we wanted to work together on something. We came back to the office, and Ben actually went to work on a couple of designs that he was excited about. And the game has changed form quite a few times over the months. But what we have now is a real-time campaign-based co-op baking card game.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot, but it's really simple.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was one of the key sort of goals that we were always aiming for, right? Where it's like this has to be super easy to pick up. It has to be, it has to be good for fans of baking and for fans that that aren't necessarily gamers, right? So that anyone can kind of jump into this and run with it really quickly.
I love the artwork for this.
Some lots of fun little choices and interesting challenges that are part of it.
Yeah, it feels
And you
kind
want
of
to give everybody the rundown?
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah.
So if you're looking at the screen there, the real basic level of the game is everyone has a hand of cards. Mostly it starts with the ingredients from the pantry, which is that bottom row. And then you're going to use those ingredients to bake layers, which are the things like pastry and jam and icing and, things that like take some construction, but aren't a finished baked good in their own right. And then you're going to combine all of those things together to fulfill some customer orders that are up top. And so you can see if you read those, like those Viennese whirls, they require biscuits, jam, and icing. So at some point on your turn, if you have biscuits, jam, and icing in your hand, you can
so sold on the
discard
artwork
those
for this
and
already.
take the Viennese
It's so
swirls
adorable
and
looking.
bake those and score that many points. And that's sort of the core of the game, is upgrading those types of cards to these goals. The twists, though, is that after everyone has taken their turn, you're actually all going to pass your hands to the left. So
it's a
you're
drafting
all, that's the
type thing,
co-op
too.
part of it, right? Where you don't have your own hand. You actually have you have a bunch of hands that you're using as a group, and you're just kind of all, you've got to remember, like, wait, what was in that hand? Who had the icing? Because the icing needs to get combined with the jam, and it's just like that's sort of the challenge, to kind of add a little bit of like sort of chaos into it, so that you can't like sit and think about what.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, and then you get the events sprinkled in, which add a little bit of its own chaos and sometimes helpfulness, because in this world, we're in this magic bakery world where the animals are obviously alive and our customers, and I guess we're actually technically we're also part of that world. We're animals, so pick your favorite animal to be. I don't know which one I would be. Kim Joy, what animal do you think you would be if you were one of the animals from the game?
I don't know. I kind of want to be all of them. I might be a cat.
No, right?
Yeah. There's the cat that wants to be petted. It's one of the event cards. That would be me.
Is that one Yeah, I can't remember where that's at. Maybe there's a dragon, and if you like puns, obviously the dragon's coming right at you. I mean, lots of puns.
I feel like that's one of my favorite passes we made to the game, where we're like, wait, Kim Joy said she loves puns. We need to make sure that every event card is a pun.
I loved it when you sent the email of all the updated puns. I was like, oh, this is exciting.
Yeah, well, because we realized like 5 of them were good puns, and then the other 5 were just names. So we're like, we can do better. We can make these better.
If you notice the art, Linda did the art, who did the worked on your cookbook, is also our artist for the game, and she has this awesome color pencil vibe,
style
technique that she does that's super unique and just lovely. It's just really lovely.
I just love what she does. I think she brings a lot of life to a lot of the animals and the whole of the game. Like everything's got character to it.
And look at that little pantry. That's
yeah, it's hard to come through on a tabletop simulator, but like even the backs of the cards, they have that kind of like hand shaded look to them, where because Linda drew, and I think probably actually did at some point, hand shade the backs of the cards like that. So it has like a very kind of just like, I don't know, it feels
super
nice.
cute.
It feels warm,
it's homey looking
to like have those cards and be playing with those.
Yeah, definitely.
And Kim, I think the first thing you said that you hadn't seen since we've showed you some stuff lately was the playmat. So the playmat got updated, and that's going to be one of the things I know we're going to be asking about. When can I have? And what we're doing right now is we're finishing the game, and it will have a pre-order date in the future. And one of the things that will be available, obviously, will be the game, but then also we're working on this custom playmat. So if people want to have, you don't need this playmat to play the game. It won't be necessary to play the game, because you can just line the cards out on your table and play the game. But if you want that, that'll be one of those like really cool bonuses that you can get through the pre-order.
We like to have the full,
it's just pretty, very
the thing. Very full effect of everything.
I would recommend, and I'm biased.
I love the map. It's amazing. It's really, really cool.
One of the things that we're working on in the game, with that idea in mind that Ben mentioned, is so even though the game is fairly simple and there's not that many rules, it's still gonna roll out in stages. So the first time you play, it'll almost be like this is your first day on the job at Kim Joy's Magic Bakery. You're a brand new employee. We don't expect you to make a showstopper on day one. Okay, listen, you're gonna handle just making the icing for us today.
You can check out the Instagram
That's your
pictures
job
for that.
day one, right? And so the game is really stripped down the first time you play it. You're just trying to get through that time, score enough points to fulfill enough of the orders that we don't, like we don't get a bad Kelp review, because if we get a bad Kelp review, it's all over. People be yelling at us. And so then day 2, you might come back for the next game session, and a little more has been added. There's a slight event that's happening, and so you'll have to deal with maybe let's see what pops up. The bees won't beehive. So till the next event is drawn, players may not pass sugar or fruit that day. And so,
I can see what they mean about the puns.
You're really working together to try to move this stuff around. And so the bees, these bees aren't helpful today. They're not letting us pass the sugar around. They're keeping it. But what it's going to do is going to make a very fun building experience as you kind of like go through game sessions as a team. And
so this
it'll
is a
get
co-op
harder
game,
and harder and harder, and it'll be a little bit more difficult, but you'll be learning as you go. So I think it's going to feel really fulfilling. It's really fun to play on our end. So
yeah, it's nice because it's a co-op game where you have to work together to do well.
Confirmed co-op
so I played a game
by the one of the designers.
We didn't cooperate, so it didn't go very well. Like one person just kept making tons of icing, and then and then it was like, but the chaos is like really fun, and yeah, kind of makes sense. And then next time you're like, next time we need to discuss this a little bit more.
Well, and that's exactly why we kind of went back, because we wanted to be like, well, what's the best way to introduce this concept? Because it is a weird concept to be like, I'm taking stuff for myself, and by the time that I'm ready to do something with it, it's like, I got to give the cards to Ben. Okay, well, now I've got this whole new hand of stuff. Like, what do I do? So you do have to communicate really well, and the new way that we've built the game out, I think, is going to help people really hone in on that as they get better.
Yeah.
Kim Joy, I did want to mention one other thing. We've got a little time left. You just announced a new book.
I did, yeah.
Ooh,
yeah, my Christmas baking book. Which is exciting.
So I'm a big Christmas nerd. So when I saw it, I was like, pre-order.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, it's Linda again, who the same artist is on this game. She's done all the little illustrations on the book and all like really cute and festive. And yeah, I just really excited.
Awesome. I'll have to look into it and see if we can get it up in Canada.
It's July, and that's quite early to think about Christmas. But yeah,
I think I saw the delivery date was sometime in October is when it was expected to start shipping out.
Yeah, 1st of October. So that's more, a better time to think about Christmas.
Which I think with the quarantine,
October is Halloween
timelines, I think that's fine this year.
Yeah.
I'm ready for Christmas now, so it's whatever.
Yeah. Christmas all year round.
Well, in Christmas in July, that's a thing, right?
It is a thing.
I'm excited that if it ships in October, then we've got like a couple months to ramp up and practice the recipes before any Christmas gatherings.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
gotta get it perfect for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So people were asking, this game is called Kim Joy's Magic Bakery. So that is like the actual name. People are asking when it would be available. We haven't set the pre-order date, but it will be in the future. So if you want to make sure you don't miss anything, you can obviously follow us on any socials with Skybound Tabletop. You can follow Kim Joy on any of her. I know Kim Joy, you are super active on Instagram.
I would love to review this. This is right up our alley.
Yeah, a little bit.
I would love to talk to
mostly
Kim
I see you almost every day on IG doing fun stuff.
Because that would be
you definitely need to follow
so much
Kim
fun
Joy
to
just
get
for
her aspect of creating this game
as well. It makes me hungry, but also it makes me want to bake, and that's one of the things I love about your content. It just makes me want to bake, which is like anybody who can make me want to play board games or bake, I think is a good combo.
Board games and baking in general just fit together really well. I reckon.
I concur.
That was part of our conversation for starting Roll.
Yeah,
it came out really well. I can't wait to show you that episode. And then obviously you can sign up for the Druid City Games newsletter, and that way we do that once a month. We don't spam you, and you'll get updates, and we will definitely
Already
obviously
on
mention
that
when that
list.
pre-order is incoming. So, yeah, that's.
Exciting.
I'm ready to get this thing into people's hands. It's a
I
lot of
want
fun.
it.
Yeah.
I want it.
Yeah.
Kim Joy, what would be the goodies that you would make on game night if you knew you were bringing friends over to play your game?
Oh, that's a good question.
Cookies.
Oh, what would I
Some
make?
form of cookie.
God, I feel like I would have to make like a bit of everything. It might be nice to do something where you can like people can make it during the like over the course of the night and help me out a bit. So maybe I can make some batch pastry, and then also make a batch of like creme pat, and then have some fruit, and then people can put together their own like
sounds like a lovely game night.
Top of fruit or something like that. We can do the same with meringue.
Ooh.
So it can be like a party where you sort of assemble
your dessert.
play a game. If you have
Fun.
time, you probably don't have time.
Yeah.
But maybe in
Well,
between, you know, when you need to calm down in between a game because you need like a little bit of settling time or between rounds, then you know, you're like, oh, let's put some fruit on this tart.
There was an early version of this game, or you know, when we were still thinking about it, of like what could be cool and how to combine like the baking night with a game night, and it was like, oh, if there could be recipes, like real recipes on the cards, you know, not just like the game recipes. But to actually bake like the things that are on the arts that'd be fun.
That's actually fun. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just saying that would be fun.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's
so
room
hard
on
to
the
do
cards,
interviews. So hard to do interviews over Zoom.
I know.
And but yeah, I was gonna say that's like the perfect answer as far as like the theme of the game too, right? Because you're using all these different ingredients to make and fulfill orders, so that would be perfectly on theme to be like, we're gonna put our own stuff together for the things we're actually gonna eat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'd probably need some animals too. You know,
space turtles.
Yeah, just invite the space turtles over.
Anyways, that's going to be the end for us for this particular panel because we got to head over to our next one. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll catch you at the next panel.